Are you ready to buy a house? This is probably a question that you've asked yourself recently if you've had some thoughts about possibly buying a home. If you've been renting a long time and you kind of have some thoughts that maybe it's about time you thought about buying a home, it's a question that is very common and certainly one that you want to consider carefully before you make a decision. But the question again is, are you ready to buy a home? One of the things that is important when you're thinking about buying a home is job stability. Do you have steady employment? Have you been on the same job for at least 2 years? Or maybe in the same line of work at least in the last 2 years? If so, you meet many of the guidelines for most of the home loans that are out there. So it's not necessarily that you can't change jobs, but they don't like to see a lot of what we just call job hopping. If you've moved on to a different let's just say a different opportunity, maybe in the same line of work though, there's nothing wrong with improving yourself and improving your income. But they do like to see steady, gainful employment for at least a 2-year period. The next question is this: what is your debt to income ratio? Now this may be something that's new to you, debt to income ratio, but that's something that lenders consider when they're making home loans. Basically what they mean by that is what are the monthly debt payments, the kind of debts that would appear on your credit report. These are things like your car payment, your student loans if you have any, could be your credit card payments, Target, Visa, MasterCard, Visa, those kind of things. If you've got furniture loans, any other bank loans, anything like that that might appear on your credit report, that's just called monthly debt. And you take that monthly debt and divide it by your gross annual income, and that's your debt to income ratio. They like to see your debt to income ratio somewhere in the neighborhood is something like maybe 45%, maybe as high as 50%. But that's one of the other things you'd like to consider. Item number 3 is what kind of money do you have for reserves? This is money that's in your checking or savings account. It could be investment accounts, 401ks, maybe you have a little mutual fund account, something like that. But this basically are liquid funds. They're not just your assets, but liquid funds that you have available. It's not necessarily so that you'll need that money to buy a home, but they like to see maybe somewhere around 5% of the sales price of the house. So if you're buying a $200,000 house, would you have somewhere around $10,000 in liquid assets? And like I said, that's adding up the money from all of the different sources of the funds that you've got available to yourself. And last but not least is what about your credit scores? Credit scores are pretty important. They're not everything in a home loan, but they generally you have to meet a minimum level. Most home loan programs require a credit score in the neighborhood of 620, maybe 640. There are programs that you can have a lower score than that, scores as low as 580, but they require a larger down payment. We have a special program out right now that only requires a 600 credit score. But if your credit score is somewhere in that 620 range, maybe 640, you're probably pretty well set for a pretty decent loan program out there. But that is something for you to see, and don't confuse this with what you might have seen on Credit Karma or something else, or one of the credit card applications. So we're talking about your mortgage credit score, which is it actually is entirely different than any of those other scores. But anyway, those are 4 of the major things that the lenders consider, things you should be knowledgeable about when you're thinking about making a purchase. If you don't know all those things, then you can have someone help you with that. Your realtor can probably help you that, or if you've been talking to a loan officer, they'll tell you what those 4 things are and where you stand. But if you're thinking about a home, that's the kind of things that you want to be thinking about. And I do appreciate you watching this video. I'm Kyle No. I'm with First United Realty. I'm right here in the OKC metro area. Been here in the neighborhood for 32 years. So I've been helping people do these kind of things for a long time. If you have any questions, I'm always available to answer them. You can reach me directly at 405-210-5319 if you'd like to talk to me, or just call one of your other maybe trusted advisors. And if you'd like to have something to read about the home buying process, We have a free home buyer guide. So if you'll look at the link somewhere here along the way and click on it, we'll be glad to send you that home buyer guide. And that way you'll get some good information too. And if that brings up any questions, like I said, just give me a call. Thanks again for watching the video. I hope you have a great day out there, and I hope to visit with you soon. Bye-bye.